Good morning students. Today we will learn about a new topic, that is the looping statements. So what is a loop and why do we need loop while programming? So while programming you may want to repeat certain statements, means certain set of instructions repeatedly, once, twice, thrice. So what will happen if you want to run those statements multiple times? You can use loops. Why? If you don't use loop, you have to print it multiple times, or you have to run the program again and again to make it work again and again. So in place of that, you can use the loop to make it run multiple times. So a loop is used to repeat the execution of a group of statements multiple times. Statements that enable us to create loops are known as looping statements. So which looping statements we will learn in QBasic, that are for next, do loop, then one more is do while loop, and one more we will learn is while, for next, and step loop. So what is for next loop? So let us first consider a basic programming statement. So you can see this program. Let $a equals to God bless you, print $a. Let $b equals to God is great, print $b. Go to line number 20. Now what will happen? It will print $a, that is God bless you. Then it will print $b, God is great. Then it will go to line number 20. That means again it will print $a. Then it will come to line number 40, $b. It will print God is great. Again it will go to line number 20. So like this the loop will run multiple times, and here you can see no statement is there that will check how many times we have to run the program. So it will run infinite number of times. So now let us take another example. Now in this example what we will do, we will put some conditions that will stop the execution of the program after certain period of time, or after means after the counter variable has reached its end. After that it will stop running. So now what is this? Let us see the example. Here you can see, here is one initializing count. Here is a one counter variable that I have initialized to 1. Then I have told let $x equals to thank you, and I am printing the $x, that means thank you will be printed. Now I am saying a equals to a plus 1. That means the value of a will be increased. Initially the value of a was 1. If it is increased plus 1, so it will become 2. Now I am checking the condition. If a less than equals to 10, then go to line number 30. That means now the value of a is 2. 2 is less than equal to 10, so it will go to line number 30. That means it will print $x. Okay, so again it will come here, back to line number 40. Now what happens? See, again the a is increasing. Now when the a is increasing, it is becoming 2 plus 1. Why? Previously the value of a is incremented to 2. Now it will become 2 plus 1, that is 3. So again it will check if 3 is less than equals to 10. If 3 is less than equals to 10, then it will go to line number 30 again, and it will print. So likewise what will happen? It will run 10 times. Why it will run 10 times? So this is the condition. That means now you will understand why we need a condition. This is the condition that will put an end to the execution of this statement after running 10 times. That means when a will become 11, it will say 11 less than equals to 10, the statement will become false. So when the statement will become false, the execution of the program will be stopped. Previously the statement is, when it is running in the if condition, is always true. That's why it is going to line number 30 again and again. So now when the statement is false, what will happen? It will come to an end, and that execution will not run much more time. So now this is a very easy one. That means we are using here go to statement, and we are using the if condition, but there are some looping statements that are already used for this purpose. The first looping statement that we will learn here is the for next loop. So what is the for next loop? The process of using multiple counters in large program is very tedious. The process of repeating a program segment in a loop can be simplified and controlled by using for next statement. It also reduces the lines of program. Now, what are the statements that are used in for next? That I will tell you first. Before that, one thing you should learn, that is use what is counter, what is accumulator, and what is initializing variable, and what is the updating of the in counter. Okay, so you can see here in this example, in for a, you can see here it is written for a equals to 1 to 3, print hello next a. Now you can see here this a is a counter variable that is increasing each and every time, and accumulator is something and the accumulator is, you can see this one, an accumulator is a variable that stores the sum of the numbers entered during the execution of a loop. That means sum equals to sum plus n. This one I will tell you what is an accumulator later on when I will explain this flow chart. So first let us see what is for next statement. You have to write for, then you have to give the write the counter variable to count how many number of times it should run. So it should run 3 times, so I am writing 1 to 3. Then I am writing next a, that means next a means it will be incremented one more time. First the value of a is 1, so hello is printed. Next a means it will become 2, so now again it will print hello, then it will become again 3, so then it will print hello, then it will become 4. When the next a will come, it will be 4. That time you can see here I have given the final value as 3, so it will not run more than 3 times. So whenever it is encountering 4, it will understand that yes, we have to get out of the loop, and afterwards whatever is written that will be printed. So what is counter and accumulator? A counter is a numeric variable used for counting something or some items. Accumulator is a numeric variable is used to add together some value, and initializing is to assign a beginning value for counters and accumulators, and updating is used to increment the counting variable or the accumulating variable. Now let us go to this flow chart. First let us see the program, then we will move on to the flow chart. Now this is a program to find the sum of 10 numbers. So initially what we have done, we have written clear screen, then they have written sum equals to 0. For I equals to 1 to 10, input n, that means we will take the input from the user. Then what we are doing here, you can see this line, sum equals to sum plus n. Now see, this line is used as, here sum is the accumulator and it is used for addition. That means, and for I equals to 1 to 10, I is the counter variable and it will be incremented 10. It will run for 10 times. Why? We have written the initial value as 1 and the final value as 10. And it will take input 10 times, and every time it takes input, it does the sum of the number. That means initially the sum is equals to 0. Say I am giving the input 5, so sum equals to 0 plus 5. For the first case it will be like this, sum equals to 0 plus 5. Now what is the value of sum then? Now the value of sum is 5. Now say for the next case, now the value of sum is 5 and I am giving the input 6. So already the sum is having the value 5, so that means next case it will become 5 plus 6. That means the value of sum is now 11. Now again I am taking the input and I am telling that now input is say 10. So what will happen? Now it will be, the next sum will be 10 plus 11. So what is the value of sum now? The value of sum is 21. That means sum is acting as an accumulator, that is accumulating the value of the sum, means addition of the two numbers. Now what is happening? This will run next I, the next statement is next I, that means it will run 10 times, and after the program has run 10 times, now say the final value of sum is, say after giving 10 numbers the value is say 200. So see, print sum that means the value 200 will be printed. In this statement, the value of the sum, that is the final result, that will be printed. After 10 times, after running the program 10 times, I am taking the 10 numbers, whatever is the sum, value of sum, that will be printed. Now let us understand the flow chart. Here you can see, whenever you are drawing the flow chart, there are certain symbols used in flowchart. This is the start symbol which is used to start the program. Whenever you are writing the program, you should always start with the start symbol. Then the next is the rectangle symbol, rectangular box, which is used to take the initial input. That means here you can see sum equals to 0. The accumulator value sum is having the initial value 0 and I is also having 1 initial value. So I will use rectangular box to give the values, means initial values. Then this rhombus, you can say rhombus, or you can say this box is used, diamond box. This is also called diamond box. This diamond box is used to check the condition. Yes, if we are using the if else, then also we will use this condition. Why? This condition checks if it is true or false. So I will check here if the value of I is less than equal to 10 or not. If it is less than equals to 10, see what is happening. This is used for checking the condition. Whenever the value of I is less than equals to 10, that means the condition is true. You can see here it is written yes, the condition is true. It will take the input n from the user. Then after taking the input, it will do the sum. Then it will increase the value of I, that means I will be next I, that is I will be incremented, I equals to I plus 1. After doing, it will come back here. So like this it will run 10 times. When the value of I is equals to 11, the condition will become no, that means false. Then it will print the value of sum and the program will be ended. And to end the program also, we will use this box, which is curved box. You can say this curved box is used for start and end. Okay, so I think now you have understood the concept, how to draw the flow chart. I will show you more flow charts and I will give the example of flow charts in your class. But I think you have understood how the for next loop is working. So now there are few programs that you will practice at home. See the first program given here, program to print table of 12, the table of 12. Now this program, when you are having the Zoom class, I will show you how to run this program, how to write the program. I will show in the Zoom class practically. That will be your practical class. Here I will explain you how it is working. So first I am writing clear screen, then I am writing for a equals to 1 to 5. Why? We will run this table, means we will print the table of 12 only 5 times. So it is see the counter variable a. Here the counter variable is which one? A is the counter variable. Okay, so I am saying a equals to 1 to 5. That means 5 times it will run. Then what will happen? It will print 12. You can see here within double quote I have written 12. Then star will be printed. Then after that the value of a. So first what is the value of a? The value of a is 1. So first it is printing 12 multiplied by 1. Then it is printing equal to. Then see 12 multiplied by a. That means first the value of a is 1, so it will multiply 12 into 1 and whatever is the result, it will be printed. So first result is 12, so 12 is printed. Now the next a. Now what is happening? The value of a is increasing. It is becoming 2. So what will happen? Now it will print 12, then it will print 12 star, then it will print 2, then it will print equal to, then it will multiply 12 into 2. So what is the result? 24. So see, for in the second line it is printed 12 multiplied by 2 is equals to 4. Okay, when I will show this program practically, you will understand more clearly the concept. What is the concept? Now see, for the next line it will be printed 12 multiplied by 3 equals to 36. Then for the next statement it will be printed 12 multiplied by 4 equals to 48. For the next it will print 12 multiplied by 5 equals to 60. Now come to this statement. Now it will become next a, that is a value will be now 6. After printing this line 12 multiplied by 5, the value of a will be 6. Now it will come to this condition. It will check whether the condition is true or not, but here the final initialization is 5, so it will get a false value and the program will end. Nothing is there to print after next day, so the program will end there. Okay, now the next program is to display name 9 times. Yes, the next program is to display the name of a person 9 times. So you can see the program. First we have to write CLS, then rem, remember, that means print your name. This is the line. Why we use the rem statement? This statement is used whenever we have to make a comment. This will not be printed. This line will not be printed. Rem is a keyword that is used to make any statement in QBasic programming as a comment. Okay, it will be displayed to you, but it will be not displayed to the user who is running the program. Now the next statement is input name please. So now name please will be printed. After that it will ask for your name. So you will enter your name. Say here it is written Kabir. So Kabir you will enter. After that the for statement will start. So here the counter variable is x. So x will run from 1 to 9 times. Okay, it will run from, means it will run 9 times. Why? It is from 1 to 9, so it will run 9 times. Then it will say print n dollar. So what is there in the variable n dollar? The name Kabir. So Kabir will be printed 9 times, and it is getting next x 9 times. When the value of x will become 10, it will again check if it is true or false. Say, so the program will run 9 times. So after 9 times it will become false, the condition will become false, and the program will be ended. So this much I will tell you today. For today only this much you should practice at home, and tomorrow when I will have the Zoom class I will show each and everything how to do. Then we can also use step along with our for statement. How to use that also I will explain you. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.